Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is OSU Football Update, brought to you by Bronze.
OSU Football Update brought to you by Brahms. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe Oklahoma's Own Sports on YouTube, and appreciate every single last one of you for checking in here over the last couple of days as Oklahoma State gets set to host Houston coming up on Saturday, and the tumultuous season continues for the Mike Gundy-less Oklahoma State Cowboys with Doug Meacham as the interim head coach off of a trip to Arizona that did not go well at all, outside of maybe one or two bright spots, and that's putting it nicely if we could just cut right to the chase here off the very top. Third quarterback starting for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, because it will now be for what seems like multiple years in a row. And I know we've got to go back to 23, the last time that happened for Oklahoma State, but now it's Sam Jackson's turn to take over as the quarterback here in 2025. A guy that was originally recruited to be a slot receiver here at Oklahoma State, but has had some time spent as a backup quarterback in several different positions in several different schools across the country. So signal caller new for Oklahoma State. Doug Meacham had an opportunity to talk about what he brings to the table earlier this week.
We got to move the football offensively. We got, a lot of work to do this week, and hopefully the message is soaking in, and those guys are like, you know what, let's get in the foxhole together and let's dig in and let's go.
What can you tell us at this point about Zane and his injury?
Zane's probably not going to participate this week. We're still kind of looking at it. We have Sam Jackson, who recently had gotten some reps, who had played quarterback before. Bowen would be another option for us there, who's got a ton of reps. But we need to have our first practice to try to make that determination, and we'll see. And obviously I don't want to give the opponent a 2-day advance on game plan. So we'll see how it goes.
With Sam and Banks, are there common pieces of advice you'll have for both of those guys this week as they get ready for this weekend?
Common what?
Common pieces of advice, like things what will you be telling those guys as they kind of get ready for this weekend?
Oh, no, it's about, probably, be simple and just know where your eyes should be, know what your checks are, and know how to communicate, and the signals, and just the normal stuff you'd teach any quarterback. I don't think there's anything special other than, if you try to, you can create anxiety, or you can just treat it as business as usual, You can have paralysis through analysis. And so we're just trying to treat it like it's a 3-foot putt and go knock it in. Let's go.
Doug, you were at TCU when Sam arrived as a quarterback.
Yeah.
What did you guys like about him? We've obviously seen what he can do at receiver, but what did you like about him as a quarterback when he came in?
Well, his high school film was unbelievable. He played receiver his 10th grade year, played quarterback his junior year, and then they had COVID, and they had no school and no athletics his senior year. But he reminded me on tape of Trayvon Boykin. That's what really stuck to me. He's unbelievable release, huge hands, throws a light ball, and he can run, and he's pretty twitched up. And he just kind of reminded me of kind of some of the stuff Trayvon had. And we thought we kind of already have this package that fits a guy like that, so we just took him. And one of our grad assistant coaches went to high school where he came from, Naperville Central, I think, in Chicago. But he can make plays when they break down, which, reality of football is about half of them do break down, run game and pass game. It's just guys make plays, and he's a guy who can kind of maybe do some of that when things don't go correct.
Did he come when he transitioned over to play receiver? Was he having conversations? Like, did he initiate that? Did you guys as coaches?
No, he transferred from TCU to Cal and started at quarterback, and then got injured, and then he transferred to Auburn. And I think that's where the transition occurred. So we went to Auburn. Yeah, so we had film of him playing wideout, which I always thought, if it wasn't quarterback, he could be a corner or a receiver or something, or a turn guy, But it's kind of odd, like I know they had a quarterback at TCU, Casey Paha. He had gotten in some trouble or injured or something. Trayvon did the same thing there that Sam potentially is doing now here. So we'll see how it goes. He just, he's that other element that you kind of have to defend. He can kind of take off and make people miss. So, and he is fast.
Just going to say, we talked a lot this year about how much Zane is benefiting from game reps and because he doesn't have that experience before. Would you put Sam in that same bucket with his high school losing that last year and getting hurt? Would you put him in that same kind of, he hasn't played enough, so he's benefiting a lot from just being out there?
Yeah, and he's 22 years old, you know what I mean, where Zane's a little younger, so he's been through a lot, and I don't think he really flinches at any of this type of stuff because he's an older guy, and he's been through a lot. He's been at several different schools, and I just think he appreciates the opportunity to help the football team and go out there and play a position I'm sure he loved and probably liked more than playing receiver, But it'd be interesting to see what he does, when he has the full thing on him.
That kind of led into the question I was going to ask, because obviously this is a guy that if he's going to play football beyond this year, it's going to not be a quarterback, most likely.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like there's any hesitation from him at all.
But you'll be able to see his legs and what he can do in open field and running football and things like that. And he has the ball every snap. So at receiver, you're straining super hard for a maybe. At quarterback, you got the ball. So there's probably a little bit of comfort in that, knowing he has the ball and he can take off, throw, do whatever is asked of him to do. So, but it is funny though, right? You run 6,000 yards of practice for a maybe, and you have no it's not even up to you. So,
is it enough of a spark to jumpstart this Oklahoma State offense? We'll have to see. Of an offense that has not had much success at all this season. Last time that they actually led in a game was early on against Tulsa in the opening couple of minutes in the first quarter. Tulsa then went down the field and scored to take the lead just 2 minutes after Oklahoma State had that lead. So it's been week 1 and then the Tulsa week, the last time and only time that Oklahoma State has had a lead in any games so far this season. And now Willie Fritz brings in a Houston team that is playing much, much better, but coming off of their loss to Texas Tech. And a couple of things continue to rear their ugly little head for the Cougars out of Houston, and that is slow starts. Willie Fritz spoke about that at his press conference, and then also an issue of tackling. But let's start first with what Willie Fritz thinks of this Oklahoma State team that they will face on Saturday.
I think they're talented without question. They've got a couple new guys. Well, I think the head coach and was also the offensive coordinator, and so there hasn't been that much change. But I've seen him really, run a lot of stuff. I think he's, throwing everything out there at you. So you got to be ready for everything. They've got in some different formations and sets, and different what some people categorize as trick plays. They're doing a few of those things. They've got a interim defensive coordinator, a new guy. That I'm sure is working through some things as well. But, they don't give up a few big plays last week. They're in the game, so we're going to have to play extremely well. We know that every week. I've told our guys we're not going to be able to roll the ball out there and have, great success. We got to play our A game, and we're going to need to do that Saturday at 11:02. Great practice today. I think some people are probably going to ask about Connor Wigman right now. He's in concussion protocol, but doing pretty darn well. So he was today. He was going to do some stuff, but he wasn't feeling very well. Had a cold, and he'll work back into tomorrow, the next day, and should be full speed. There's a protocol that they go through with step 1 on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then obviously the game on Saturday. So we're looking forward to having him playing for us on Saturday.
Brought up the issue of missed tackles for the Houston defense. Is that an area that Oklahoma State can exploit this weekend? It's been a rough go for the Cougars defensively on the tackle front. You'll hear Willie describe exactly what happened, not only in the Oregon State game, but last week with Texas Tech as well.
Willie, I'm not sure if that goes hand in hand, but the last 2 games, Oregon State had 189 yards rushing and Tech had 207. Is that part of the problem, or how do you sort of?
Yeah,
that?
big part of that was missed tackles. You know, we had we probably had 4 or 5 tackles that could have been minus plays that ended up, being positive, big positive chunk plays for them. And a few of them weren't anything special. We had leverage. The guy bounced at the outside, just go make the play. But we lunged too early and weren't in a good tackling position and didn't make the play.
Brahms Banana Fudge Sundae gives a whole new meaning to decadent taste. 2 creamy scoops of premium vanilla ice cream overflowing with delicious hot fudge and fresh slices of banana to create the perfect balance between the fruity banana flavor and rich hot fudge. Treat yourself to a banana fudge sundae at Brahms, where every spoonful is pure bliss.
All right, let's get to some bright spots for Oklahoma State. We'll start first with LaDainian Fields. A guy that hadn't played very much at all, gets an opportunity against Arizona and ends up being the only guy to find the end zone last Saturday off of an interception that he returned back for a touchdown. Let's hear from Fields, as he could be a young man that sees more significant playing time moving forward.
Seeing everybody out there, like coming from where I come from, seeing everybody out there, it was just very loving, very just having passion for the game.
Doug said that he's told you guys, there's 1 of 2 ways to respond to disappointing circumstances, which he admitted, everybody's a little disappointed right now.
Mm-hmm.
But head down, or you can still be excited. What's been your sense of the way guys have reacted and sort of responded to that message from him?
I say we reacted pretty well. We just taking it on. Like you said, Doug, Coach Meacham is the best. He's telling us to stay committed. You're still here playing football at the end of the day, no matter who goes, who comes. So I think we took that very strongly, and just like I said, we still have a whole lot of games left, so we're still playing.
He seems like, he's preaching the positivity, and it seems like he's a positive guy. Is that what you've seen out of him?
He is. He's very positive. He doesn't. Every coach goes to the negative, but he keeps everything positive because everybody's trying to be negative around, but he keeps everybody together and keeps us all positive.
Does he find a way to critique and be positive? Is that?
Yeah, that's kind of what Meacham does. He's good at that. He could critique some things, but at the end of the day, he's going to keep it positive with you.
When the coaches can encourage you one way, but when you get a pep talk from somebody that you respect, and you're dealing with, hey, I want to play more, I'm not playing as much as I want to play, how much does that help?
It helps a lot, because like I said, he's telling me just stay down, stay committed, and we got you. And then he told me that week that you're going to get some burn. And when I got out there, it was just proud, committed.
Guys, though, that care about OSU but may not be on the coaching staff, and they give you a pep talk, does that help?
Yes, it does. It does help. It does help. Give him a fist bump, man. It does help. It does help. But we're all a family. It doesn't matter what's going on. We're still positive. We're all still smiling. That's what it's about.
I know it's been tough because Rodney has got his chance and he's done some things with it. Your cousin, and honestly, I give Rodney this all the time. You're the most athletic Fields on the campus. You're bigger. You could be a wide receiver if they needed you over there. You know that. And I saw the frustration on the sideline and at practice when you weren't getting your chance. How much can this deal Saturday kind of unlock the door for you and okay, I'm stepping through. It's my time.
It's a big step. It can unlock so much for me. Like I said, just staying positive and being committed and just staying and keep praising God and just being me.
What's sort of going through your mind as you're running, nobody's in front of you, going to the
when nobody's, it was just like, dang. It was like, dang. Because I seen it was nobody near me, so it was just like, dang, for real, I'm really running, nobody behind me, I got to score. So, yeah.
The other bright spot for Oklahoma State has been Logan Ward, their kicker. He met with the media earlier this week as well.
The biggest goal is just trying to work towards the next game and next day just get ready for the next opponent.
I hate to be the guy that asks a negative question. What happened on the second field goal try?
Just weird situation. Ball was like at a half yard. We set up for it a half yard. It got moved to a full yard. We tried to move again, and then it got moved back to a half yard, and then just ran out of time, rushed it, and pushed it.
Also, I think it was after that one too, or another one. Aiden Davenport the official came over and warned him about, I don't know, replacing the ball or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
just weird situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work on it in practice.
What's it like with Aiden? Because you did, I mean, you guys get really close in an operational situation. Shay leaves. How's that been?
Aiden stepped up really well. Yeah, I'm really proud of him. He's taken on the new role, and nothing's changing. So.
They brought a new kicker in over the offseason, Pikowski. How much did that kicking competition really?
Oh, it was great. It was fantastic. He's a really good kicker, and I think he's going to do really, really well next year. And he pushed me to the best of my abilities, so I'm happy for him.
So to recap, Oklahoma State will go in with their third starting quarterback of the season against Houston, and Sam Jackson spent some time at Cal before he got injured in the game against North Texas last year at Auburn as a wide receiver. And now, off of a performance last week, 3 for 6, 27 yards, 4 carries for 13 yards, will be the signal caller for Oklahoma State against a much improved Houston Cougars bunch. And from my experience in being around Willie Fritz coach teams while he was at Tulane, you know that you are in for a very long day from a physical standpoint, because that is one of the true key DNA elements of a Willie Fritz team, is just how physical and how disciplined that they are. It's not going to get any easier for Oklahoma State coming up this weekend against Houston. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time, and thank you as well to Brahms for their sponsorship here of the OSU Football Update and all of our other great channels that we have for you on Oklahoma's Own Sports. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's Own Digital Studios sports presentation. Stay with News on 6, online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.